Barich operate at about the same speed. And because he has that trump and unflinching courage, I think Bogucki does have a little edge here. But Barich as the 2 seed has the edge of he gets to go first.
That's very important. And he needs to look for a fast hand. And he's starting with Experiment 1, so he does have a fast hand.
What he wants, both players keeping on 7.
Yep. So welcome to the finals, my friend. This is our last match. Again, 12-month premium giveaway after this round.
Right.
Evans Pilgrim for Woodrow.
Yeah, and that, Evans Pilgrim in the deck, a decent card. It provides insurance against Lilianas, obviously, which don't exist here, but it also lets you accelerate into a Geist of St. Traft and just, pump out auras and creatures even faster.
This was the draw that he needed.
Oh my goodness, is it the draw he needed. 3 1-drops in the first 2 turns. This is exactly what he said.
And evolution too. So if that was another Experiment 1, it wouldn't have been as good. But because it's a dried militant, it's going to pump both those Experiment 1s and let that Experiment 1 attack for 2 points of damage. So you're talking about a perfect start here for Barich.
All right, so we see Hinterland Harbor from Bogucki. Remember though, as we still identified before, the unflinching courage is still kind of a trump for Bogucki. He's behind right now and very well could lose a race.
That'll slow things down quite a bit.
Lots
on Smiters in the house. So it looks like he's probably going to need something like a Gorkline Rampager. Here's another copy of Experiment 1. And he's just going to pass the turn back.
And that is not good for Barich.
Yeah, if you're Woodrow, you're definitely pleased with that. No Gorkline Rampager, no attacking plus Searing Spear your guy. So this is a very, very healthy place to be.
Alright, so we have 4th land from Bogucki.
Is
3rd land, 4th Mana Source.
Is it Unflinching Courage? That's the question.
Yeah, if it's Unflinching Courage, it doesn't have. It could be if it's like Unflinching Courage, Ethereal Armor.
Yeah,
that's the nightmare for Barich here. His whole team couldn't even stop that.
Even if it's Unflinching Courage, and he has to put in front of it a Dried Arbor and both those Experiment 1s, you're happy with that trade.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't need to go the whole distance. It does give. I don't know how much I'd want to make that trade, because then Barich could follow up with something like a Worm and maybe actually recover and win.
Sure.
So this is a 8/6.
8/6.
Barich has the opportunity to trade for it. I think he does it. This is hugely painful, but
here's your trade.
He gets the Unflinching Courage off the table, which is what he needs to do. If you're Bogucki and you have another, if I'm Bogucki and I have another aura in my hand, I don't make this attack.
I agree with you 100%. I do not make this attack. I do not want trades to be offered up. I want my giant guy that has Unflinching Courage on it. So it leads me to believe that he probably does not have another aura.
Right, because at the end of the day, that was only a 3 for 2. It was a Smiter and an Unflinching Courage for Experiment 1, Dryad Militant. Not, which is pretty beatable.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Barich and you have that Boros Charm, do you even, because he does have one, do you consider taking the damage and trying to trade it next turn, or you just don't want to risk another aura?
The problem is he doesn't have white mana for the Boros Charm right now, so he'd be relying on actually drawing the white mana.
That's too much.
Yeah, he has a Reckoner and a Boros Charm in his hand, 2 cards he actually cannot cast right now.
Right, that Forest, keeping him off Boros Reckoner.
So here's Voice of Resurgence, here's Geist of St. Traft, so it looks like a handful of creatures.
Yeah, Barich actually had a healthy 15 life right now. The more I'm thinking about it, I really don't like that trade. if I'm playing Bat and Hexproof, I kind of just feel like you never want your Unflinching Courage to hit the graveyard.
Yeah.
And the correct way to play it is, just wait, just keep making your creature even more unbeatable. As you see right now, this is very possible that Barich wins this game, right?
No, it's definitely possible.
Right, but I feel like if there's that Smiter in play, I don't know how possible it is.
The thing is when you have the 6 toughness guy against Barich's deck list and you have his deck list, you know that what it takes to actually kill a 6 toughness guy is 2 Searing Spears. 2 of them. There's not a Doomblade running around or anything like that, or a Selesnya Charm here. It takes 2 Searing Spears to get that thing off the table. That thing can just stand tall forever until I draw an Ethereal Armor, or another Unflinching Courage, or another Unflinching Courage, yeah. Or Spectral Flight.
Well, yes, Barich has to hope there's not a Spectral Flight or Ethereal Armor coming down in the sky, so that will once again create, the unstoppable creature, which isn't that the goal of the Bant Hexproof deck in most matchups, is just to create the one unstoppable creature?
Yeah, that's the entire point of the deck, and here comes a Rancor now, too, it looks like.
Yep, Rancor, and, Barich has to hope that it's not going to tap that Pilgrim and put an Ethereal Armor on it.
Yeah.
So that makes it into a 6/4 trample, but once again, a card that can be answered. And, Bogucki just needs some patience here. you know, he can trade it, but he has to make sure that he doesn't trade it. He doesn't need to.
Yeah, again, he doesn't need to make a move, because if he just stands
He
still, especially because this guy's
the baddest creature around.
Yeah.
It's not like Barich is gonna kill it. You know, he just waits to draw another aura. It could be another Unflinching Courage, a Spectral Flight, an Ethereal Armor. That's enough outs. I think you just wait.
Yeah, it's king of the castle.
We've seen in the past Bogucki a little trigger happy sometimes while playing Hexproof, but he's really contemplating getting with it. I think he's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
And he is. He's going to swing that in. That offers Barich the chance to trade for the Geist, and I think Barich without hesitation takes it.
Yeah, we've already seen this once. Like, he's already proven that he's more than happy to, like, double block. I mean, he triple blocked the last time. He's like, absolutely, let's do this.
This is a 2-for-2. This isn't even card advantage. And when you're playing a deck that's high synergy, your cards are worse than your opponents because you're playing, you know, gimmicky cards cards that are bad by themselves but really good with each other. So the last thing you want to do is trade them, because when you start getting into a top deck war, your cards stand to be worse because they need more things with them. They need more things going right to turn them into actual cards. Whereas, you know, Barich's cards, right, they're just like a 4/4. You know, what does it take to make a 4/4 good? Nothing. You just, I guess, the mana to cast it.
Yeah, that's really all it takes. Now you see Aaron is going to decide where to shoot that Reckoner. He's going to take care of the Absence Pilgrim. So now, for Woodrow, it's just Rancor in hand. Actually, it's 2 cards, but one of them is Rancor, and then Voice of Resurgence in play.
You know, the Experiment one is somewhat an answer here. I mean, okay, it's going to have to... The Rancor means that Bogucki is still able to push damage, but we're about 1 advent to the Worm from that not being true.
Yeah, and Advent of the Worm changes everything right now.
Yeah, it evolves the Experiment one, it blocks, you know... Barich very live right now.
Yeah. Is he going to attack? Because you see him contemplating attack this turn. It looks like he might get into the red zone here. Yep, here he comes.
All right, so for 3,
it's Advent of the Worm.
Okay, and he's going to main phase the Advent of the Worm to get that extra damage in. So how do you feel about this? Is the most Barich has decided he needs to be as aggressive as possible, you know, because he's worried as soon as Bogucki starts drawing more auras, he's going to lose the game.
Sure.
So I do like this play. There's a certain part of me that wants to try to ambush with the Advent of the Worm.
You know, there's definitely the potential to trap him.
Right. You know, get that Rancor and just throw out there and be like, ha, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And I maybe that's too much of, you know, the gotcha player in me, but I think you can represent that bluff really well.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is that he actually has to cast it because of Voice of Resurgence is text. Like, he can't.
Oh, yeah, he can't cast.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
You're right.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Yeah, he can't do that at all. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Why doesn't he do that? No, because then he gets 2 stars. That's terrible.
Yeah, yeah, it's absolutely terrible. I was thinking the same thing as you, and then, yeah, Voice of Resurgence, that's why the card's insane. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's very hard to trick it.
And so it's Rancor pass the turn back. Draw a card. It's a land. He has that Boros Charm still.
Right, so the Boros Charm, remember, the double strike text on it is actually pretty relevant right now. So that stands, I mean, it's a 5 damage burn spell, not a 4 if he wants it to be. So you can push 1 extra. I don't know if that's actually ever going to equal a turn. But
yeah, nor do I. The thing that's kind of insane here, right? And we talked about this earlier when you were covering Barich's match when I was on break, is that he turns the corner so fast. He has a 5/5 and a 4/4 in play.
That's 9. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's 2 or 3 turns. Probably 3 because he just has to leave back that blocker. But so Bogucki down to 17.
Does he have to leave back that blocker though?
I mean,
I want to shorten the game as much as I can. I want to make it so
I want to start.
Okay,
next turn I want to swing the team.
Yeah.
I think this turn he's playing it absolutely right because it's 3 swings no matter what, right? So when you have to do 3 swings, when you have a certain number of swings to win the game, you want the last swings to be the big ones and the first swings to be the safe ones.
Well, I mean, it's 3 attacks. It's 3 attacks, but it's actually 2 attacks and a Boros Charm. So if he goes in last turn for 9, 21 minus 9 is 12.
Okay, so 2 completely unblocked attacks and then Boros Charm.
And then Boros Charm you, yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so maybe he should be doing. You've sold me on it. I think he should have been swinging the team.
This is Unflinching Courage again.
And it's the 3rd Unflinching Courage that he's drawn. It's really the card that Barich did not want to see here. Fortunately, he has the option, and this is something you're not going to like. On the attack, he can double strike the Worm.
Is that something you want to do and give him a token?
Yep.
Yeah?
Don't you? You get to keep your Worm, and you get to kill the Voice. And you get to kill that Unflinching Courage, which you just can't beat.
This might make
I'm
it
not
tough.
right.
Another
Right.
Rancor?
I mean, okay, it's an 8/4 trampling lifelink. I mean, yes. Don't you want to keep your room and kill it? I know he gets another Star, and then he has a pair of Rancors, and like this is all sorts of bad. But I think taking any damage off this is probably worse.
I think I'm with you on that one.
Oh, and it's a gross. You look this board and be like, so when I like to joke around and play, I'd probably say something along the lines of like, boy, this is one of those plays I really don't want to make, and I just like look away and be like, okay, double strike my guy.
He blocks so fast.
Or you can just do it very coolly and hope that he forgets that his voice has rules text on it.
I suppose that's a line.
I mean, these are things that actually work. I know that's like terrible to say.
Yeah.
You know, these are real things. But let's see what happens. He does have the Boros Charm in hand. I mean, it's 8. It's lethal. This block's going to happen.
Is he going to Boros Charm here? This is really interesting.
Don't you have to? I mean, you can Boros Charm to be interesting. Remember, you want to Boros Charm to double strike, and he's going to do that double strike. Not. We'll see if he's declaring double strike or indestructible. It's probably double strike.
Yeah, I feel like it's double strike. Yep,
Let's go ahead and let's see. Back. The question is, how many tokens is Bogucki going to put in play? Is it just one? Is he going to remember that he has a second one? No, he does not. He only gets the one. Oh boy. Boy, that's a pretty big thing right there. So Voice of Resurgence, because that Boros Charm was cast during Bogucki's turn, Bogucki had the option of making another Star there, but that's Bogucki's trigger to miss, and miss it he did.
Did he draw Searing Spear? Okay, he drew a Stranglegeist.
And that's huge. So now instead of having a pair of 2/2s, he has 1/1/1. And
that's gigantic.
I don't see how 1/1/1 is going to deal 7. A pair of 2/2s, I can see how that was going to get there.
So this thing right now is a 3/1. Rancor would make it a 5/1, and a creature off the top would make it a 6/1. I think if you're Barich, you get in there with everyone this turn. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put him down to 6, and then just make him peel something.
What's the card he has to draw?
It's like another aura. Like you can't
kills him, right?
Like you can't beat Spectral Flight.
The Spectral Flight doesn't kill him. It's only 5.
He has another Rancor in his hand.
Oh yeah, he has another Rancor in hand. Okay, so a Spectral Flight would kill you. An Unflinching Courage would kill you. Would a let's see, an Ethereal Armor. If you leave back a blocker, does it still kill you?
It makes life really hard.
Is what 3, 7, 8. 8 first strike trample. No, you could probably chump it.
No, I absolutely love this. Like I want.
Well, the question is whether or not you want to leave back the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I want my opponent to get one
like
more draw step.
Yeah,
you get one draw to hit.
And it's
Hallowed Fountain.
It's not there. And Aaron Barich gets the first game in a game that I think was Bogucki's to lose.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think again, this is we've had it on camera a couple of times, and every time he's playing the Ban Hexproof deck, you just need to understand that your guy is bigger and superior.
Barich actually can't kill it. Your guy is good, and that's awesome. You put auras on him, just like make it better. Your creatures will eventually reach the point with these auras where your opponent has no answers to it anymore. Barich isn't playing black. Yeah. Like he's not gonna, he's not gonna Liliana you. He's not gonna Doomblade your guy. You can actually make the unbeatable creature, and that's as dumb as that is. You always teach people playing Magic. No, don't put 4 auras on one guy. You don't need to have the unstoppable monster. Yeah. Okay, like bigger. It just needs to be big enough. It doesn't have to be super big. But in this match, Ban Hexproof basically unteaches all the things you learn in Magic and tells you just like to close your eyes to the rest of the world and just keep trying to win with one guy.
Oh. We're going to come back to the booth really quickly here for you guys because Matthias is going to ask you a trivia question.
We have a final trivia question. This is about the Ban Hexproof deck and a little bit of Magic history. For those of you who've played Magic for a while, it's not going to be too tough of a question, but if you're just new to the game, you're going to have to look up some stuff on Gatherer.
Oh boy.
So, the newest addition to the Ban Hexproof deck is the addition of Unflinching Courage.
Okay.
Now, Unflinching Courage is a near reprint of what common from Invasion Block.
I actually like this question. Okay, I thought it might be like super difficult.
And I said it near reprint.
Yes.
Because it's not actually the same card.
It's about as close as you can get to being.
There is one difference, and we'll mention what the difference is
okay.
when we tell you the answer. Why it matters. Like, there's a reason they did not reprint this card, and it's because of this difference.
All right, you know that answer. Hashtag answer on Twitter with SCG Premium. And again, we'll give it away.
Yep. It's an Invasion Common.
Invasion Common. We'll give it away at the end of the round. It's not too tough, but as you said, if you're new, it is tough.
By the way, that card shouldn't have been a common.
That's probably true.
It really makes for bad limited games.
It was really good in its limited format.
Because people would have 2 or 3 of them. If you played against it currently, you'd be like, wait, he'd have 3 Unflinching Courages. You'd be like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah, that's fine. It's not a big deal. That's what Magic was like. It's back in the day.
It's back when you had to have things like Pestilence at common. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Pyrohedron uncommon. Let's take a look at the sideboards here for you guys really quick. Barich is going to be on the play, so we're going to go to Woodrow's first since he's going to be on the play. Barich's going to be on the draw.
So looking at the player sideboards, so we have. Yeah.
Where's Woodrow's deck this
We
time?
have Woodrow Bogucki sideboard. He has a pair of Nearheath Pilgrims, a Strand Group Geist. You can see the whole chart there. Not too many options in the matchup. If he wants to try to race, he has one Feeling of Dread. I almost feel like, I think his main deck's pretty much what he wants in this matchup. You know, all these things provide utility in different ways. I guess Celestia Charm pushes you over the top of a potential blocker.
Yeah.
You could do that. It could, if you're lucky, it could exile a Worm token. So maybe you want to bring that in. I'm not sure if it's better than the things you're already main decking.
I mean, the options there aren't great, and of course, with this deck, you don't ever want to dilute your deck too much. You know, there aren't a lot of cards you can sideboard out because your deck is basically a combo deck, for lack of a better term. So
Right.
I don't dislike Feeling of Dread. As far as Barich's deck, now you take a look at Pacifism over here. You see Ray of Revelation, maybe
They're great.
Mizzium Mortars. I mean, I like Pacifism a lot.
I mean, so think about when we had that Voice of Resurgence with 2 Rankers and Unflinching Courage on it. How gross would it have been if Barich just pacified it? That's
Disgusting.
I mean, it's like 4 for 1. Yeah, it actually kills Rankers. I mean, that's game-winning level of good.
Yeah, and so, you know, the plan that we keep advertising is, you know, he just makes a Gigantic Guy with Pacifism zooming in the sideboard. Gigantic Guy is probably going to have to be hexproof now.
Yeah, so the Pacifisms and the Ray of Revelation is certainly coming in. The one question mark is whether or not he wants to board in Mizzium Mortars. It is a way to answer hexproof creatures. It is a way that probably will not answer hexproof creatures.
It is a very expensive way to answer hexproof
Right.
creatures
By
with
that
that
point,
overload.
the guy might be out of the range of 4 toughness, but if their hand was all Rankers, maybe not.
Yep.
I think you leave it in the board. I think that's just too much of a corner case, honestly. But
Alright.
there's an argument to be made, for sure.
Cards I think are going to come out here for Barich are 2 copies of Boros Charm. I mean, does he leave in Rancor? Does he not? I don't love Rancor in this matchup.
No. I mean, I don't like Rancor at all in the matchup. I don't like Rancor. Boros Charm, despite the fact that it won him that last game, I don't particularly like it either.
No, I think it was a corner case that it actually just showed up to be very good in, and that's about it. So that's like an easy 4, and then you can cut like some extra creature and then just call it a day, I believe.
All right. And Bogucki's going down to 6 cards. Remember, he is on the play this game.
Indeed.
His deck is, you know, pretty off to mulligan, though. It's, you know, it has that 3-pillar thing. It needs lands, it needs creatures, and it needs auras. Those aren't all going to show up in every hand. He has to mulligan until he gets a hand with all 3 pieces.
So we'll see if he's able to find a better. I mean, the tough thing about this man hexproof deck too is that it's definitely not a deck that mulligans very well because it is like that combo deck without any selection.
Right, no, but just hopes to draw all 3 pieces and then go.
Yeah.
There's no selection at all. Which is why, you know, it feels kind of... That's why it feels like an all-in deck. 'Cause it is.
Yeah. Feels like an all-in deck because it is an all-in deck.
Yeah. That said, though, there's still a lot of play to the deck. You know, and as we're seeing here, there are sometimes, despite that it's an all-in, put everything on a guy and attack deck, sometimes it's a put everything on a guy, don't attack, put more things on a guy than attack deck.
Yeah, it really is.
So a little bit of history here. We actually, I saw a conversation on Twitter. We claimed that the hexproof strategy started in Modern. That may not be entirely true. I think for those of you who play Pauper, though it's not, you know, a tournament level it's not like a pro level format. The online Pauper community, actually the Orinarla deck may have actually been the first versions of this.
Oh, okay, that's my mistake. Then I apologize. I have to have more conversations with Alex Oldman.
With players, yeah. I mean, I myself don't play too much Paupers. You know, I would, but I do believe it. It sounds like a sweet deck. So we have Bogucki still going to 6 here, and Barich confirmed has kept his 7. All right.
All right. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
So interestingly enough, in the matchup, if you know, does it matter what creature we're really putting things on? You said that a hexproofer is far more important to post board because of the presence of pacifism, right?
Yes.
So is the gold standard still Geist to St. Traft, or you know, is
Stalker's fine
Stalker's
too.
fine?
Yeah.
I suppose like Stalker's better because like Stalker Cloak is unbeatable thing number 1, and Geist Spectre Flight is unbeatable thing number 2. You just hope to get one of those 2 combos.
All right. Ooh, Nearheath Pilgrim. Okay.
Now that's typically something you use for the decks where you're trying to race them. Like that's your board for a red-green aggro deck. I don't actually think that's what this matchup is, but it's serviceable. You know, it's a creature. you're not actually counter racing. I think you're enough faster than the Anaya aggro deck here that you don't have to do this.
Sure.
You can just play the better cards. Depending on what he sided out, though, you know, depending on what he sided out, maybe this could just be better than what else he's playing.
So he's partnering up. He's got 2 of these bad boys in. And
He's on 5. There's an interesting story about his 5 here too. That apparently he mulliganed to 5, put 5 cards face down on the table, and just said keep. Which I like the style.
One way.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I can't win on 4s. We'll just keep.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the Lauren Nolan, Adam Prozac mulligan to 0 when they get in a feature match, which one day that's going to happen and it's going to be great to watch. But keeping 5 in the blind, I mean, bad hexproof is not a deck that's going to win on 4 cards. So I don't disagree with him there.
I'm actually surprised that he soulbound his Near Heath Pilgrims. You know, the goal of that card is to give one of your other cards lifelink. You know, to give whatever guy you start suiting up with auras, you want to give him lifelink. Now it depends on if Bogucki has no more creatures in his hand, then this seems like a fine play. But if he has something like a Geist, you really want to make sure that your Geist is soulbound when you play it.
So let's see if there's any more plays here this turn for Bogucki.
Yeah, it looks like Barich does not have any of his hateful sideboard cards. I mean, he's not sitting on a pacifism or something like that. So Bogucki still has a chance. You know, if Barich was just sitting here on a pacifism, it'd be a lot harder to deal with. And now Bogutski's paying a little bit of the price for soul binding his 2 Near Heath Pilgrims. The Geist is not bound to anything.
Yeah, and I think he's going to regret that decision because he probably wants to have that paired up there with the Geist in draft so he can move all the enchantments to it and then have some life gain along with beating down for a lot.
I think his first enchantment, if I saw his hand correctly, may be an Unflinching Courage, so it may not matter.
Okay.
And if that's true, you know, it'll be fine either way. But
so let's see what Barich is going to come up with. You see a Strangler Dice, you see a Voice of Resurgence over there as well.
Yeah. Barich opted not to swing last turn because of the pair of lifelinkers, so the pair of Pilgrims did go a decent way in just making... They went some of a distance making this game longer, right? Barich doesn't have free reign just to swing out.
Yeah. You see him looking at the Strangler Geist and the Voice of Resurgence thinking, I think this is going to be my turn since I can cast both of these, but do I want to make any attacks? And are my attacks good?
I mean, I think he does want to make attacks. He just wants enough blockers back. He doesn't want to give away free life gain. You know, if life gain happens, he wants Bogucki to pay a creature for it. And we see that. All right, the pair of 2-drops are played by Barich.
Do you attack here if you're Barich?
I'm certainly attacking with some creatures. The question is how many. 3 was what I was going to say as well.
3 is the magic number.
Well, what this means, because he's swinging 3, it was either 3 or 2. If he swings, what this means is like he can block and kill the Geist to St. Trapped, and that's the one thing, you know, no free hits off Geist ever.
Sure.
But now if he does take the Geist with him, he is going to concede 4 lifelink from Bogucki because Bogucki can just swing the team back. And if there's 4 lifelink points, it's a question whether or not Barich is even making progress by doing this.
That's true.
So the reason you may only want to swing 2 of them was because then it really disincentivizes Bogucki to counterattack.
Okay. So let's see what Woodrow can find.
That said, Woodrow may not want to trade the Geist for Voice of Resurgence, so and if that's true, there may be no attacks regardless.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
If there is a second Geist, however, then, I mean, I don't even know if you want to trade that with the Voice of Resurgence because the token that comes back is a 4/4. And we do see the Unflinching Courage on Geist now. It is 1 Spectral Flight away from being terrifying.
Yes. I mean, even Ethereal Armor is a terrifying enchantment right now as well.
Right,
I wouldn't want any part of that either.
So Barich's swing of 3 creatures, I think, is looking like it was a little too aggressive of a swing. It's going to afford Bogucki a good attack here, and we're just going to undo all the work that Barich did on his swing.
All right, so now he's going to get in with all his guys too. There's your Angel token as well. So let's see what Voice is going to block. It's going to trade here with a Nearheart Pilgrim. There's going to be a lot of lifelink here, and after the dust settles, we'll get some updated life totals here for you guys. It looks like it's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then some lifelink here of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right, and I like the swing of the team here, and actually, if for the savvy player, and if Bogucki knows this trick on his own deck, he's probably happy to lose one of his Near Heath Pilgrims.
Got to be thrilled.
Because, and why would that be?
I mean, just because now you can start making the attack of, with the guys in the draft, the Angel token's actually going to get the Soulbound and the lifelink.
Right, so now it's like both halves of the guys have lifelink,
yeah.
which is better than, you know, he actually wanted a Near Heath Pilgrim to die.
Big draw there from Barich. He did draw a Rare Revelation for the turn.
Huge draw.
Huge.
And, yep, I like it. He looks like he's playing with the original Ray of Revelation there. He has it with the old card face.
You're old school.
Yeah. Oh, it's just fun when you get to play, you know, when you go through the work of digging up your old cards.
I think they're ugly.
All right, fair enough.
I think they're gross. I like the new card face.
All right, Bogucki all the way back up to 20, Barich down to 8. So interesting enough, Barich does have ways to deal with these auras. What he has to make sure is that he doesn't actually just die naturally to Geist of Saint Trap. You know, he doesn't have blockers for flyers. He's at 8. That's 2 angel tokens.
Yeah, he does have to be does have to be careful here. One thing to also keep in mind as well, Matthias, is that, you know, he blocked with that Voice of Resurgence, but the token that it made is actually a 4/4. It's
Right.
not bigger than that 2/2 that was hanging around a little bit earlier.
Right. My word would be if Bogucki has another Geist in his hand. He can go Geist for you with the angel. Okay, yeah, they trade. Next turn, Geist for you with the angel dead.
Yeah. I mean, currently empty-handed right now is Bogucki, so he doesn't have anything. But I mean,
He
can't
could draw
stop. Yeah, can't stop the top of the deck.
Right. I mean, Bogucki's on a mold to 5 here, if you recall.
Yeah. So attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yep, that'll put Bogucki down to 12. There's no reason for him not to take all of this. You know, there's part of him that'll want to chump block that elemental token. He doesn't have to do it yet. He can do that chump block next turn. I mean, because next turn it might be a 5, in which case you're gaining yourself a life by doing it next turn.
We might see Barich go rampaging here because he definitely picked up his hand as soon as that block happened.
Now, yeah, it's about the same damage casting it. Yeah, Blood Rushing is probably better. He wants to make sure. What I'd want to be sure of is holding up both halves of a Ray of Revelation.
Me too.
You know, say Bogucki top decks a Spectral Flight. I want to make sure that Geist doesn't kill me.
Alright, so here's a Blood Rush.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessary.
Yeah, it's
close.
I mean, it's bold. It's bold.
You know, but yeah, I think now he's a little softer to a Spectral Flight top deck.
Well, what's Bogucki draw?
All right, yeah, pretty relevant draw here, and all right, well, we all get to be kept in suspense too. If it's another Geist, he's swinging. If it's an Ethereal Armor, he's swinging. He's probably swinging no matter what it is.
It looks like it's got to be a spell.
Looks like an aura by the way he's holding it. I think it's something he's going to throw onto the Geist. It's not a land. You can tell that. You know, he held it above the land, so it's not a land.
Yeah, I do not think that's a land.
Let's see, first of all, if he knows his tricks, he'll know that angel is going to get lifelink, and that's a pretty relevant lifelink. It's going to probably buy him another full turn. But he'll need a way to, you know, he'll get to deal 4 with the angel token here. The question is, how is he going to deal the last 4?
Yeah. Alright, so it's not a spell to play pre
Yep, and he right on target soul binds the angel with the Near East Pilgrim, so we have 8 lifelink coming in, Aaron Barich at 8, as we both know about what's going to happen here.
Yep.
And there's a revelation is about to occur, but not the kind you're used to seeing in Standard.
Yeah. Seeing the new kind of revelation, the Rave revelation here, I think he's going to use in just a moment. So you see both players are trying to figure things out really quickly here. But he's going to have to cast Rave Revelation before damage. No trample damage going to happen here. Take care of that on Flinching Courage.
All right, Bogucki knows that the revelation's in Barich's sideboard. Nothing to be done about that. This trade is going to happen. The Geist undies to a 3/2, but Aaron Barich drops to 4. Bogucki gains 4 off that angel token, and let's see what that hold card he drew was. Something he's not going to cast.
Yeah.
That's pretty good for Aaron.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't land after all. Maybe he tricked us good. Hey, look at this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 damage for the attack.
And yeah, Woodrow has to chump block, and he has nothing with haste. I don't see how he gets it.
Yeah. I think Barich said, I want to attack you.
I moved to my attacks. Maybe it's okay. It could be feeling of dread. I think that's what he's saying.
That's true.
Right. I'm going to my attacks. Okay. Because there is that one feeling of dread in his board.
Nope.
Nope. It's not the feeling of dread. Or because he's just slow rolling the feeling of dread. You know, one or the other.
This is an attack for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
You know, if it is the feeling of dread, you don't play it, right? You actually take this hit.
Yeah.
And if you're Barich, I think if you want to play around feeling of dread, and that's not going to get him if it is. He's going to Hallowed Fountain him. There you go.
We have a champion. Aaron Barich top 8ing yesterday. Not able to get it done then, but top 8's again today, and it's actually going to be your Star City Games Open Series champion on day 2. Congratulations to him. Naya Aggro gets it done yesterday and completes it today. Woodrow Bogucki, definitely a good run with bad hexproof, but Aaron Barich, you are a champion. Goofy hat and all. Congratulations to you.
Yeah.